welcome to the latest episode of Parks O'Plenty, my Let's Build series set in the game of Parkitect. And in the last episode, we spent some time basically working on our carousel, right? We built a little plaza around it, more of a kind of a pedestrian street with row houses. And then we enclosed the whole thing into a theme-specific type building, partly to blend it in, give it the feel of the theme that we're shooting for, plus to get the guests out of the weather when they're standing in line. I'm sure they appreciate that. And we got that mostly done. Now, as you can see, the Ferris wheel's just kind of hanging out there, and I mean, when we originally built the park, we built it quickly to just meet the scenario objectives, and now we're going back and rebuilding the park to be something special. And in this case, if you look at the Ferris wheel, even the seats are pointing backwards so that people are like looking off outside the park, right? I mean, it's not a a great implementation, but it worked. So what we want to do is we want to improve the whole Ferris wheel experience, and to do that, I'm going to have to move it. But to move it, I kind of need to get these folks off the ride, and you can pick them up. You could just like close the ride. There's lots of things you can do to make that happen. But I'm gonna let people have a ride. In the meanwhile, I'm also gonna fix the teacups here in anticipation of the same treatment, right? Except that the teacups are actually in a pretty decent position. But if we look here, it has room for 18 and 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So the queue's too long for the number of passengers. As a general rule, or as a best practice, it makes more sense to have the queue line no longer than a full load on the ride. That way, unlike real life, that way people aren't in line too long and get upset. Okay, the Ferris wheel's still doing Ferris wheel stuff, but we can remove these. Now, if you ever been to a real theme park, especially one of the big ones like Magic Mountain or Disneyland or something, you know that you could be in line for well over an hour, and these lines aren't limited. I mean, if this line goes well outside of the area of the ride, well, so be it. They'll just snake the line through the park. In fact, some of them are so notorious for that, like Pirates of the Caribbean. They actually have places that are like designated crossing zones, where they set up aside space where you wouldn't stand in line so that other people can cut through the line. Not cutting in the line, but cutting through, so you don't block traffic. Though my understanding is that Disneyland is a lot less crowded than it used to be. I mean, at $100 or $150 a day, I can imagine why it's less crowded, and that's sad. It's sad. I don't think Walt Disney would have been happy about having the park become kind of an elitist operation, but it is what it is. So we got the space stuff, and I'm just trying to see what we gain from that. So going back to the whole premise of the series is to complete the scenario based on scenario goals, and then to play beyond that to really come up with a theme of our own and flesh out and finish the park properly. And in this case, I've chosen kind of an old-timey amusement park vibe, but and specifically something that is set like in New England. So I'm trying to pick themes and materials and stuff that would go along with that. But the problem is we didn't have a lot of decorating choices up front, right? Because that's part of the scenario. You got to research them, and you don't have any control over what is researched and what in what order. You have control over category, but that's about it. So we've been patiently waiting for better decorations to come along. So okay, June, you know, we shop sales went down and we had to buy a lot of supplies. That didn't help. Ride admissions are holding steady. Park admissions are holding steady, but that was a big, well, not big. It was an operating loss for the month, $319.25. And but here's the important report card: is what are people thinking? And you can see the happiness is way up there. So that, I mean, that's the main indicator, right? And the scenery is amazing. Okay, so we can see that they had a great time. And wow, look at that! The park entrance fee is a good deal. Well, we can do something about that. Let's see. So you can see that at the top of the list we have a lot of smiley faces, and as we get down to the list, we see less happy faces, but they're all like onesies, right? So individual people having individual problems. So we will take the park entrance fee comments as a good sign. We'll just bump that up 25 cents. Meanwhile, what we can do to kind of help drive profitability is we have actually some new rides that we researched that we've kind of been ignoring, and we're not, just like when we originally set up the park, not going to put a lot of time and effort into this. Just set something up real fast, and but it should help bring more people to the park and give us a little more variety in our ride choices, and that helps us cater to a wider variety of guest preferences, because, you know, not everybody wants to sit on the merry-go-round or the Ferris wheel, right? Some people want to go on something that makes them puke. A lot of people want to go on things that make them puke, so I think this might help fill that bill. And it needs 22, so that would be about 7 Q tiles. Let's see, and let's look at some stuff here. So the excitement factor is 29, so we could charge about $6. And let's see, decoration low. How about none? We'll just turn it on and go with it, right? And let it bake. See how it goes. But yeah, this is one of the people's complaints about the Ferris wheel, is it takes so freaking long to load up and then unload. So it'll give us some time to add some path accessories. People love synchronized fountains, and people love trees. I certainly love trees. Okay, I want to landscape this whole space around the Ferris wheel. Now, you know, well, in an old-timey park, they would have just plopped stuff down wherever they had space, right? Wherever it made sense for them. In modern parks, one of the things that they that they look for is a thing called line of sight. So let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the ride's 5 blocks long. So 2, 3, 4, 5. But the idea of line of sight is that you want to arrange things in such a way that when people do see them, there is an emotional, artistic, or thematic element that comes to play, right? And the Disney folks really double down on this. I mean, maybe they're the ones who invented the concept, but like for example, in some of the Disney parks, you can go to a spot and you can see something off in the distance, and it looks like it's 20 miles away, but you're in the middle of Anaheim. 20 miles away would put you like 2 cities over, or 3 cities over. So clearly the thing's not really there, but what they've done is, like forced perspective and things like that. It's pretty amazing what you can do with that, and that's why this is important, because when you're talking about this immersion factor, right, you can really do a lot with basically the optical illusions creative sight lines. Okay, that is our last rider, so we can kill off the Ferris wheel and we can put it back, but again, it's facing the wrong way, so let's put it so everybody's looking at our park while they're enjoying the ride. And I put down a bunch of leaf blocks to mark it, but now go back to the mowed grass. And let's see here, let's put an entrance here and the exit here, and this goes straight out like that. Now let's look at this. Of course it's dark and it's kind of hard to tell what's going on when it's dark, plus it's the end of the month. So let's see, July, 320 bucks for food, but we still had a lot of outlay for supplies. Ride admissions are up a little bit. Maybe that new ride's helping. I like to think so. Park admissions are up a lot. Wow. But that's because we added a new ride. That brings more people to the park, leaving a slight deficit for the month. Now, guests are still happy. That's the key indicator. Immersion is going up slowly but surely. So let's see a lot of good stuff. Park entrance fees. I raised the park entrance fee, and now we have twice as many people thinking it's a deal. So don't draw the wrong conclusion. Don't say raising the price, people think it's a great deal. At some point they won't. Oh, somebody here thinks the food and drinks are a little overpriced. It's probably my dad. Well, or me. They say that as you grow older, you turn into your parents. So, and I do complain about prices when I'm running around in the world. So let's raise the entrance fee to $3 now. Ooh, it's night. Our Ferris wheel is looking pretty dark, and it will until we open it. But let's kind of change the colors to be what we've selected as our theme. So let's try that. The lights, yellow's okay, but like a lighter yellow. The Ferris wheel doesn't spin real fast or anything. It's more of a relaxing type ride. Let's set the interval for 15 minutes. That's kind of our standard, as is 5 seconds and 10 seconds and waiting for a full load. And everything else at default. That's good. Let's make, let's see. So excitement levels just under 25. So let's set this price for what, 5? And and decoration low. So let's just see how this goes. Let's open it. Ferris wheel. Actually, I'm going to take a cue from the Coca-Cola company here. Instead of classic Ferris wheel, we're going to go for Ferris wheel classic. It's all in the marketing, I guess. So how many people fit on this thing? 32. Okay, so that's basically 11 queue blocks, or 11 queue tiles, because you can fit 3 people per queue tile. That's 11. And then we will connect it like so. Okay, so it's where it's supposed to be. It's open. Yeah, all the settings are right. Now it's a matter of decorating around it. Now, if we do the decoration right, I mean, then it could earn us a bit more money. We could raise prices, increase customer satisfaction, and have it look better too. So we are going to build this building for the queue line. And again, what we're trying to do is simulate New England. And if you like, especially Massachusetts and Rhode Island, if you go there, there's a lot of brick buildings with white trim, and it's called federal architecture, right? Federalist architecture. It has nothing to do with the federal government so much as it is that it comes from that time period when the country was formed. Ooh, industrial structures are now available. So let's see what that gets us. Anyway, these buildings are usually made of red brick with white trim, and though I don't have access to red brick, I've tried to use this clapboard colored kind of brick red, and so far it's working okay, but I would actually like to get the bricks themselves, right? And that's one of the things. Oh, they're done. We've got the bricks finally. Okay. Okay, so that answers that question. Of course, I just started building the building. So I want to replace the clapboard with the new bricks. The new brick pieces that we just got access to. Add this white curb. I was kind of hoping you could click and drag, but nope, we'll have to individually place. Oops. Each of these. Okay. Let's add these wrought iron fences to the queue line itself. That looks a lot better. And let's see what else we got. Let's grab the those brick walls. Okay. Let's start with the money. End of the month. So we've got wow, August not only had pretty good sales, we didn't have to pay for any supplies. So the pretty good sales stuck. Look at the ride admissions though. That is awesome. That's the best we've had in this park so far. And park admissions aren't a slouch either. That gave us over $1,000 operating profit. So back to people, looking good, but look at that right off the bat. People want to go on Ferris Wheel Classic. I mean, we just remade it. It's right now the #1 want to ride in the park. Not paying that much for Paul Revere, yeah. But okay, so we're already seeing dividends on our changes here. So just want to make sure I get my pricing in line here. So we look at things as they're going here, I think we're all set, right? It's just let's see about replacing the clapboard walls with the brick walls. Yes, here we go. So we'll take this arch, right, and what we'll do is we'll suck up the color scheme from one of these clapboard pieces, and then we will go ahead and change the trim to white, more of a brown brick than red, and then let's kill off the old pieces. Okay. So then we'll plop these down. Basically the same idea, we're just swapping out materials. I do like in the game Icarus, you can go ahead and replace pieces with pieces from a different material instead of having to delete and re-add like this. And of course the UI is kind of awkward and complex, but that would have been nice to have right there. So then we'll add the cornice up the roof. And then we'll add the roof. So that is a pretty sharp looking building. Let's look at Ferris Wheel Classic. Now look at that. The excitement level is up to 32. So you could charge almost $6.50, but we'll go for 6. And let's go ahead and landscape around it to kind of finish this corner of the park. Some weird stuff in there. Let's go with these poplar trees, but let's make them as tall as I can get them. Kind of help block the view out of the park. Keep rotating them for a little variety. Close off this part of the landscaping. Now, it never ceases to amaze me to see people who walk where you're not supposed to walk, especially when they go out of their way to add tall fences or fences with nasty pointy bits that kind of make it painful and awkward to climb. Still, some joker is going to go where they've been told not to go. That is the human condition. Just making sure everything's correct back there. It's kind of hard to see. Now, you know, the first Ferris wheel. Ferris wheels have kind of existed for centuries, but the Ferris wheel as we know it, the Ferris wheel's named after the guy who invented them, George Washington Ferris. He designed it for Chicago World's Fair And this was after they had already built the Eiffel Tower. So let me get back to you on that. Let's look at the bucks. September was down a little bit for food and drink. It's down a little bit for ride admissions, but still pretty solid month. Park admissions are down a little bit. I mean, everything was down a little bit, but we still came out in the green. And that's what I like to hear. Not that we're down a little bit, but that we're still in the green. In fact, I'm going to celebrate a little bit by paying back $1,000 to the bank. I'm sure they appreciate it. I think they appreciate the interest more. Oop, not these guys. These guys. So happiness is holding steady. I'd swear that the immersion is going up ever so slightly. Maybe not. Maybe it's just my imagination. Fall rush scenery here is amazing. That's prize. Park entrance fee still a good deal. Couple people won't pay that much for turbo. So, oops. So let's knock this to 3 1/4. And then let's swap out these clapboard walls with brick walls. But yeah, so when they were doing the Chicago's World Fair, this is after they had already had the exposition in Paris, where they introduced the Eiffel Tower, which is still around today. And so the idea was that they wanted something to rival or best the Eiffel Tower. And while the original Ferris wheel was no slouch at like 80 meters tall, it wasn't nearly as tall as Eiffel Tower, but it was one big moving bit that let people go up and down, and it was a ride, not just a tower. So it was pretty immensely popular. Obviously, popular enough to have thousands, maybe tens of thousands of copies, and to earn them the name that they bear the same name as their inventor. So he must have done something big to impress people enough that they would kind of name these wheels after him. You know, well, let's just carry this all the way and see what we may see. Anyway, so that was the deal with Ferris wheels. Been very, very popular ever since. Now, what I didn't know, all the Ferris wheels I had been on until very recently, they were like this Ferris wheel, right? You have a little bench seat with a couple people sitting there, and you spin. But the original Ferris wheel and a lot of the bigger ones, it's not just this little bench seat arrangement, but rather they have little gondolas, little rooms that hold a dozen people or more. In some cases, like 24. Oh, Steamwork props are available. Okay, let me get to that in a second. Let's just place some more walls. And now let's look at the props. Steamworks. We want everything but this one. And structures. Okay. Props. Nothing I can use immediately, but we can use these details for various things. But these are what called coins, And they're a pretty common element in a lot of 17th, 18th, and 19th century, well, 18th and 19th century architecture. See a lot of this up there in New England. So I do like them. I think we're going to need to adjust some windows here. Oh, didn't realize there was a gap here. It's a good thing I'm doing this then. Let's take a look. I don't know. I think this should have worked better, but I think what it comes down to it is that the ratio of brick color to mortar color isn't high enough. There's a lot more white than there should be. So I'm kind of thinking I go back to the clapboard because it looked better. That's kind of frustrating. I mean, I've been waiting 4 episodes for this. Oh, 3.5. So, okay. So food and drinks doing well, even with supplies. Oh, ride admissions very, very well. Park admissions are up as well. So that's a pretty solid operational profit for the month. So let's go ahead and make the bank happy. And that's good. Tiredness. No, and high intensity rides. Yeah, we'll get to that. Scenery here is amazing. Good. Some red faces here. Turbo. Turbo keeps coming up a lot. So let's replace these walls after I just replaced these walls. Oh gosh, that was disappointing. I am one of the problems, of course, is that in Parkitect you don't have anything that will let your roofs hang over the wall, right? They call that the eaves. And they don't have that mechanic. They don't have the bits that let you do that. Hydraulically launched coasters, not what I want. I just want a simple wooden roller coaster, right? We're looking for the classic park vibe. So this one, and let's see. There we go. This one. And what we'll do is we'll suck the colors off of this. That's not going to work. Okay, so let's just do it manually. Very disappointing. It didn't mean to kill the tree. It just happened. You know, the tricky part is I do kind of miss, like in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, you could turn off specific elements so you could turn off just the trees, or other scenery bits. Here, the trees and such are considered scenery bits, so it's all or nothing. If I turn it all off, I lose a lot of the reference points, right? So So we frequently wind up killing and then restoring trees. Well, at least we patched up this hole that was there before. I mean, it wasn't worth it overall, but I'm just trying to see the silver lining in this whole experience. Okay, let's restore trees. And you know what? These windows are too close to the coins. So there we go. Now we got to change these arches back to what we were putting in place the first time. Oh gosh. Huh. Move trees. Couldn't just slip past it. No, I didn't mean to remove those coins. Like I said, I like them. From back. Gosh. It's kind of got me at a loss for words. I mean, I waited so long for that, and it just isn't gonna let me do what I want to do. I mean, like when I look at them up close like this, it doesn't look bad, but ooh, food and drinks, great. Even with paying for supplies, and ride admissions are good, and park admissions are low. Operating profit's good, so the bank should be happy again. They get full 1,000. And let's see, not that one, this one. Let's see how people feel about this. So happiness looks like it's pretty solid. City here's amazing, good. Great time. 4 people are not liking the price of turbo. Okay. Which one's turbo? Let's see. We have to turn rides back on, and that's not turbo. See, that's a graviton. I think this one's turbo. What is it? Yep. $6. So it should be $6, but let's knock it to $5.75, and let's see if that lessens the number of pricing complaints. Okay. Back to... Oops, that's the one I want to kill. I want this one. So... picked the wrong one there. And there we go. Okay. Turn rides back on, and that was a bit of an adventure, really. Let's block this off. I mean, like I said, if you don't put up a fence, lots of people are going to walk there. And even if you do put up a fence, you'd be surprised how many people are going to jump it. Oh, rain. This isn't going to be good for our bottom line. And it's December, so 0 degrees Celsius. That should be snow. Western props producing steamwork props. Hydraulically launched coaster. So I finally got the bricks that I wanted, and they're not what I wanted after all. And still hoping to see my wooden roller coaster. I might change things up as far as research goes. I don't know if there's any decoration elements that are still out there that would be worth having for this theme, at least. Western props. So the decorations are coming fast and furious. Got the Western props. It's gonna be like a wagon wheel and a water tower. I think adding these fences around the trees in our arterial pathways, I think they add a nice touch. I didn't realize that I never finished removing the soil coloring there. So look at that. That looks nice. So let's turn our attention to the teacups, shall we? Kind of give them the same treatment. Now, as the Ferris wheels are ancient, right? I mean, in terms of amusement parks, the idea goes back hundreds of years, and Ferris wheels in the modern sense go back, over 100 years, almost 150 years. The teacups are still from before my time, but they actually date back only to the opening of the first Disneyland park in 1955. And they're a feature of every Disney park, I think. Though there are variations on the original. I do not like teacups. So let me just say right out, I don't like spinny rides, and the teacups are the spinniest of spinny rides, right? You've got cups that spin, that are on a track that spins, that are on a bigger track that spins. And of course, every time I've tried to go on the teacups, I was with somebody who just loves the spin, right? So all I can do is just shut my eyes and hope it was over, which that's not the type of guy I am, but the teacups I am. Just don't like the spinning. Don't mind sitting in the teacups without spinning them, right? But I mean, where's the fun in that? I guess. The other ride I didn't like, but I do now, is in Knott's Berry Farm. They had a parachute drop, and my mom took me up in that. And with my fear of heights, I was freaking out. Now I still have my fear of heights. I still freak out a little bit, but in a good way. So another solid performance for food and drinks. Of course, lots of supplies. So that's not great, but it's okay. Ride admissions are still higher than they were. Not as high as they have been, but it's pretty good. Parking admissions are low. I'm still turning a profit, though. That's the thing, right? Operational profit. So let's see what the people say. Okay, the scenery score's going up. Good. No intensity rides. Had a great time. Fall Rush. So I don't have anybody complaining about the prices on Turbo. Well, I do. One guy can't afford it. So, alrighty. I've had enough of this park. Well, that's not good. Where was this guy? He was here. Okay, so we'll go to the anger meter, see if we can find him. Trying to figure out. I know there's a way to track who's angry. That's not it. Oh, people. There we go. Happiness. So the greener they are, the better. Is it this guy? No. Oh, he's vandalizing? Thank you very much. Not in my park, pal. So we'll just move you out there and we will ban you. Have a nice life. Let's see. He's wandering around. Oh, this guy looks pretty red. Is that really him, though? Doesn't look like he's angry at anything. Or am I getting somebody in the middle? There's a third person there, or just these two? So I don't have any other fire engine red people. We got rid of our vandal. Let's see. Oh, looks like he was in the neighborhood. Okay, you know, even to this day, I'm still a bit of a stickler when it comes to vandalism. I do draw some exception to tagging, you know, graffiti, but it's kind of complicated, right? There are people like Banksy. Banksy's an artist who, when he does graffiti, it turns out to be a public work of art. Oh, I didn't do these last time. Okay. But I mean, that's kind of an exception. And there's other graffiti I'm kind of okay with, but generally speaking, I don't like it when people deface public property. And I really don't like it when people deface private property, right? Like they do graffiti on the side of a gas pump or something, right? Like, come on, man. At least with the public property, you know, it's you could be making a statement about society or the government or whatever. When you do it on private property, you're just costing people money, right? Okay, make sure this is all good. And we're going to rename the teacups, and if we're doing an American history based naming system, I think there's only one name that will work here. For those of you in the UK, sorry. Just of course, I don't even know how much they teach of the American Revolution in the UK anymore. I think the UK's probably gotten over it a lot better than. It's not that we need to get over it; it's just that we still fondly remember it. I guess it's people have a tendency to get nostalgic about the good times when things are not so great now. Anyway, so we've essentially got the building done, and we've fenced off the area around it. So now let's just decorate it. We'll stick with the same trees. And let's see what kind of bushes I got. Yeah, nice fuzzy shrub. And there you go. Now, what I'd like to do is grab one of these porch lights and put it to either side of the entrance to the ride here. Okay, it's rotated correctly. Why do I not see it though? Is it rotated correctly? No, that's correct. Why is it not? Nope. Okay, that is correct. Oh, it's at ground level. Okay. There we go. That'll work better. And now this back row, we'll go ahead and kind of make this an extension of the pedestrian zone we created, and we'll go ahead and extend it with the same pattern that we established. Benches and trash cans. Oops. We'll put that bench back in a second. Like that. And then this back wall, we'll go ahead and grab these cypress trees we use on the other side of the park. Do the same thing here. And then in front, oh, that's not going to be good for business. Oh, it's a new day too. So you can see that the building now completely makes the teacups a rain-friendly ride. Right before, they would have been out in the open and people would have been upset about the rain. Now they're not so bad with it. Let's see. Food and drink. Wow, we are going through supplies like crazy, but the sales are still strong. Ride admissions are good. Yeah. Park admissions are up a little bit, so we're still operationally profitable. And when I quit spending so much money on construction, that will help. You know, we're at the point now where the operational profit is about equal to what I'm paying on the bank interest. Let's see. Scenery here is amazing. I'm not paying that much for Ferris Wheel Classic. Well, what's wrong with it? That's not cool. I broke. Gravitas. There we go with the turbo prices again. Had enough of this park. Okay, he was there when he said it. So let's find him. How do we do that before we did the views? The views. People, happiness. Let's look for somebody in bright red. See some deep orange, some yellows. Ah, he must have already left the park. I mean, really left the park. Okay. Turn the scenery back on. And Turbo's broke. Man, Turbo shows up on all of my reports as bad news. Ooh, it's dark over here. Let's lay some curbs. And then let's lay the fence. And then let's light up their life. Whoa, that's not right. Here we go. You know, while we're at it, let's go ahead and grab the porch light off of this thing and actually put them on some porches here. Let's put them on both sides of doors where I have the space. Need to rotate it for this wall. Sculptures and statues. It's probably guaranteed not to have anything in there that I need for this theme. Oops, I forgot to rotate these. Add a little variety. And then we'll grab the non-flowered version. There we go. Not bad at all. Okay. So let's see what else we got going here. Thunder and lightning. I would not want to be up in the Ferris wheel when that happened either. Unfortunately, we have a lot of rides that are probably getting doused right now. Oh, Fall Rush got hit by lightning. That just proves my point. But this is where we're at. I think we're gonna have to call it here. It's it is not as far as I would have hoped, but it's actually farther than I was planning on being at the end of this episode. So this is a pretty good place, but you can see how this is shaping up. This very much looks like an old-fashioned park to me with what we're seeing here. You know, old-fashioned parks, this was before the theme park idea. So it was basically a collection of rides and exhibits, and usually just in the buildings of the region or the day. So, and they were usually built on nice flat land because, you know, that's just what was available. Nowadays, you know, there's a lot more verticality to it to kind of lend some excitement. Though, if you're somebody who has some mobility issues, it's probably not fun. So let's take a look at our Ferris wheel now. It's a solid earner now. And when we look at what people say, no, can't afford it, that's not great. But how about teacups? Oh, Boston Tea Party. It wasn't making money, but now it is. Excitement is probably supports $5 now. And can I slip in and see Paul Revere here? No? Can you do it here? There we go. 26, so I can support $5. What are we charging now? Oh, see? Has its ups and its downs. Okay, let's take our final look at profitability and satisfaction. So food and drinks, it's pretty decent, and it's profitable after supplies have taken out. Ride admissions are down, but we just had lightning and thunderstorms 2 weeks, and most of our rides are outside rides, so we took a hit. But even with a hit, we're only down $152, 153. So I'd say overall we are in better shape than we were before, and it's looking better than it did before. The next step is It's a problem when we need to add some more rides, but now I'm thinking, depending on the ride, we might just add it properly and decorate it up front, or move some of the rides in the back of the park toward the front, where we'll give them the full treatment like we have here. But that's it. This is where we are, and it's a pretty good place. I'm still hoping for some type of decorations upgrade that will let me add more detail and make these items look a little more realistic or period specific. But where we're at now, I think it's been pretty successful. So I hope you feel the same way. I had fun. I hope you did too, and I hope you come back next time to see where this goes. But so far, I'm really jazzed about where we're headed. But until the next episode, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps a touch of good fortune. Cheers.